All right, Shalom. I give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kodas, the wonders of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and to all sincere arguing about their personal truth and sincerity. You know, this just, I want to say, a heavy thought, heavy thought of mine, and, basically, meditating like at what length, at what length are you willing to suffer for the truth's sake, whether it's, you being beheaded, like John the Baptist, being stoned to death, whether it be you being in prison, or and if it's you having to eat your own dung, like the prophet Ezekiel, which I'm gonna get into a couple of those stories later on, but I'm gonna start off with this is 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace of Yahushai, and the things that thou hast heard among many witnesses. What are those things that thou hast heard among many witnesses? Hey, the scriptures, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. The same commit thyself, Slack, the same commit thou unto faithful men. And those faithful men are the ones who willing to hear, the ones that are willing to hear it, and not only hear but do, the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who shall be able to teach others also. Right. So, you get this truth, you learn it, you eat this roll, like I say, Ezekiel 1, 3 and 1, you eat this roll, and then you go prophesy, you go teach others also, verse 3, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushai, and I'm gonna go into that word endure. Which the word endure basically means to tolerate, to put up with, Hey, you gotta understand too, when it comes to this truth's sake, hey, you gonna have to endure some things, it ain't gonna be just no walk in the park, It's like phone, kind of freezing up on me. This is the word endure. It says late 14th century, to undergo suffering, especially without breaking, to continue and accent Salakia of Old French endure, to make hard, to harden, to bear, to tolerate, to keep up, to maintain, to make hard, and key point, like I said, to tolerate, to bear, going back to the scripture, which brothers bring this out a lot. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2. I started verse 1. It said, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Constantly, continuously enduring, good times and bad times. Because, like I said, when you coming into this truth, you got to understand that, hey, you gonna get a few blessings here and there. But for the most part, hey, you gonna suffer, And the world suffered, also, but it's one thing to suffer in the world, but to suffer in the truth, for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's sake, it's a whole nother level, it's a whole different mindset, and it said, make not haste in the time of trouble, so you got to mentally be prepared, mentally, spiritually prepared, to deal with that. Let me go back. 2 Timothy. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. It said, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. So you don't get caught up in doing things of the flesh. Your main focus should be doing the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. Right, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has chosen us to do the work. He said many are called but few are chosen. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 12. It said, ye and all that live godly in Yahweh Shai shall suffer persecution. So you gotta have the mindset that like I said in Sirach, if you come to serve the Lord, set thy soul for temptation. You gotta understand that, hey, you finna suffer persecution. It's not finna be no walk in the park. You're not finna be dancing in the rain. Hey, you gonna catch, like you said, you're gonna catch some good days and bad days, but for the most part, hey, you're gonna be catching hell in this truth. And matter of fact, I'm gonna get some of the examples of some of the prophets catching hell. This is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 9. It says, take thou also unto thee wheat, barley, beans, lentils, and millet, and Frenchies, and put them into one vessel, and make thee bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days thou shalt eat. And thou shalt, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. For the time to thou shalt eat it. And thou shalt drink also water by measure, 6 parts therein. For the time to the time shalt thou drink. And thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of a man in their sight. So here it is, the prophet Ezekiel, hey, the Lord had him eating human dung, human feces, so whatever the scriptures say, whatsoever brought upon you, take cheerfully, so you got to have the mindset, hey, you gonna suffer for this truth's sake, that's why, at what length are you willing to suffer? You got to really ask yourself that, have that mindset. At what length are you willing to suffer for the truth's sake, for the sake of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? And put yourself in that mindset. For 390 days, eating bread and human feces. So I get another example, which is of John the Baptist, being beheaded. Slakia. I started Matthew 14:1. It said, in the time of Herod, because I want to get right to the point. I started verse 6. It said, but when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she asked. And she asked, and she being before instructed by her mother said, give me John the Baptist's head on a charter, which is like a silver platter, And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, them which sat with him at meat commanded that it be given her, and he sent and beheaded John the Baptist in prison. So not only was John the Baptist in prison, but he was beheaded. He chopped his head off. And like I said, when it comes to the truth, say, hey, we're gonna suffer persecution, whether it be you being cast into prison, you being beheaded, or you just suffering day-to-day afflictions, in some form, some way, some form, some fashion. Hey, you gonna suffer for this truth's sake. Which this I'm gonna get in this next scripture, which it gonna further explain. This is John chapter 15, verse 15. It said, henceforth I call you not servants, for servants know not what thy Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things have I heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. And the Lord, that's what the Lord is doing. He's revealing his mysteries unto his servants, the prophets. Verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. So let me go back up. For all things that I have done, all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. Verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. I have ordained you that ye should bring, that ye shall go and bring forth fruit, that the fruit shall remain, and whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, I shall give to you. These things I command you to, let me go down. This verse 18. I started verse 18. This is John chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. And the world hated Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Because they hate the light. They hate, the good, because they want to do what they want to do, But he said, no, that if the world hates you, they hated me before they hated you. And the world, they hate you because you doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, You're not striving after wicked men. You're not striving to be a wicked person, If you were of the world would love his own. Because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. So remember the words that I said unto you, the servant is no greater than his master. And then key point right here, verse 20, if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you, So, hey, That's why in Sirach it say if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, because those same persecutions that Yahushua suffered, the same persecution that the prophets of old suffered, hey, you ain't exempt from that. You gonna suffer these things also. It said, if thou hast kept my sayings, they will also keep yours. So if they don't keep the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, how much more will they keep yours? Are you more important? Are you more greater than the master? But all these things will they do for all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they have not known him that sent me. So you gotta understand that if you come to serve the Lord, like Short say, you gotta prepare yourself for temptation, and know that you're gonna be persecuted. So I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. At what length are you willing to suffer for this truth's sake? It's Romans chapter 14 verse 5. It said, one man esteemeth one day above another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be persuaded in his own mind. So like I said, you got to have your mind made up. Are you gonna be subjected to the flesh? Are you gonna be a 2/3 nigga? Are you gonna be a reject? It said, let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. And being fully persuaded, fully persuaded. Hey, this is the truth. I'm a suffer, hard times, but I'm gonna endure. Let every man be persuaded in his own mind. This is Luke chapter 14, verse 25. I'll take it to I started at verse 26. It said, if any man come to me and hate not his mother nor his father and his wife and his children and his brother and his sister and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So if you're not willing to lay down all those things for the sake of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, he said you're not worthy to be his disciple. And whosoever does not bear his cross and cometh after me cannot be my disciple. So if you don't take up the burden, and actually, do the work, you're not worthy to be called a disciple of the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. For which of you intend to build a tower and sit it down first and not count at the cost? Right. So, you gotta get the blueprint. You gotta plan out. You gotta have the materials. You gotta really think. And make sure you got enough to finish the race, which the scripture is gonna say. Sit it down first and count at the cost, whether he has sufficient enough to finish it. Right. So you're not gonna just you building a house, and all of a sudden start building and realize that you ain't got enough materials to finish the job, or enough money to buy the material to finish the job. You gotta count the cost. Leads happily after he had laid the foundation, he is not able to finish it. Right. All that behold it began to mock him, saying, a man had began to build and was not able to finish it. Right. So, you laying this foundation, which is, getting into this truth, understanding certain breakdowns, you enduring, and when you come into the truth, hey, you eat of this road, hey, you better make sure you got, you got enough to finish this race, because this is a race, This is and I'm kind of speeding through this a little bit, Salakia. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 38. Then said he unto me, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto the death. Tarry therefore and watch. And he went a little further and fell to his face and prayed, saying, Our Father, if it's like saying, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, as I will, but not as I will, but as thou will, So you got, hey, like I said, yeah, you got to understand, we in the flesh, you gonna get weary, here it is, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Yahweh, wait, not Salakia, Yahweh Shai, he praying to the Father, hey, because he knew what was finna come. He knew that he was finna be crucified on the cross, Salakia, but he had enough humility to say, hey, to say, nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou will. So it's not about me. It's about pleasing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Going back to that, 2 Timothy 3. Enduring hardness like a good soldier. And finishing the course of him who sent him. Which was Yahweh. Yahweh sent Yahweh Shai. And then, like I said, through the blood of Yahweh Ba'Shem, the blood of Yahweh Shai, hey, we got that same deliverance. Take a little further. Say, and he came unto the disciples and finding them asleep, and said unto Peter, what could ye not have watched with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Right. Said, watch and pray. So you want to, keep up to date on the prophecies that's happening. Constantly, praying and being in the spirit. So that you won't fall into temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So verse 42, and he went away a second time and prayed again, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, then thy will be done. So he had the Lord was fully persuaded in his mind. Hey, if there's no other way, to deliver my people, to deliver the elect, then hey, I got to do what I got to do. This is Psalm 31, verse 15. This is said, Psalms 31:15. It says, my times are in the slacking. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemy, from them that persecute me. You know, and you know, just in that scripture, just reminds, hey, and it said, and my times are in thy hand. You know, so our life, our time is in the Lord's hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemy, and from them that persecute me. You know, so you want to have the mindset, hey, you pray that the Lord deliver you from those that persecute you, and the persecution that may come. You know, but at the end of the day, hey, it's not your will, it's the Lord's will. So the Lord's will be done. You know, so with that, I hope this video was edifying, and I hope you brothers encourage, hey, keep pushing, keep doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, count the cost and think about it. At what length are you willing to suffer for the sake of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? Don't be faint-hearted, endure. Hey, matter of fact, when you read Isaiah 40, 30 and 31, even the youth shall faint and grow weary, and the young man shall utterly fall. Hey, you gonna get weary in this flesh. Hard times gonna come. You gonna get weary. Hey, but hey, if you wait upon the Lord, how do you wait? By studying, meditating, doing the work. Wait upon the Lord, and He shall renew thy strength. So you brothers stay faithful, stay true. Hey, and pray that the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, renew your strength. And with that, I say all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and to all the sincere Akim out there pressing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.